Hi everyone. Today I'm joined by Jamie O'Rourke. Jamie is a partner with RSM Australia, and more importantly, Jamie is our national chairman. Even more importantly, Jamie is my boss. So Jamie, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon for a chat over a coffee. Not how we'd normally have a coffee. We'd normally be doing that face to face, so it's a virtual coffee. But perhaps before we kick off on that, Jamie, what are you drinking this afternoon?
Hi, Steve, and thanks for allowing me to be in these coffee conversations. I'm drinking a cup of English breakfast tea. I very rarely drink coffee these days. I switched to tea about 2 years ago, and my tea of choice today is a Yorkshire Gold. The name of the company is Taylor's, and it's an outstanding English breakfast tea. Can thoroughly recommend it.
Oh, that's very good to hear, Jamie. Well, I normally am a latte drinker, and I promise it's not just because I'm interviewing you that I'm also drinking an English breakfast tea. The reason I'm drinking mine is because my coffee machine's on the blink. It's a Twinings English breakfast tea. It's nothing overly special, but yeah, it's not too bad. I prefer my latte, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Look, thanks again, Jamie, for joining us. Perhaps before we kick off with a couple of questions, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Jamie O'Rourke.
Yeah, Steve, thank you. I've been with RSM for nearly 30 years now, so nearly my entire professional career. I did have a stint in London with another company and in Sydney before that, but the very large part of my career has been with RSM. I'm married with 2 kids. They're in high school, a dog named Rosie, and you know, we live in Sydney. And as you know, RSM's a national firm. Steve, interesting you joke about me being your boss. We are a partnership. We have 108 partners throughout Australia, and RSM partners are equal. So I'm not sure I am your boss, but thank you for offering that up for the camera. If you don't know a lot about RSM, we've been around, the organisation has been around for nearly 100 years, 98 years in fact, and we have more than 1,230 staff spread across 30 different locations in Australia. And important to me, in particular, over the last 4 years since I've been the national chairman, is all around managing our people and our people programs and our clients, making sure our clients are well looked after.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks very much. Look, it's a good segue, I think, in terms of what we do, and it's all about our clients and making sure our clients and our people are well looked after. I don't think any one of us could have predicted, if we wound the clock back even 6 months or even less than that, what we'd be dealing with at the moment in a business sense. In fact, just in terms of our day-to-day lives, it's so very, very different. No matter what direction we look at in the public sphere, there's challenges all around us. Would you mind sharing, you know, some of the challenges that, and I know you've been dealing with a few, the challenges that you're dealing with, you know, running a professional services organisation such as RSM, both in a business sense and in a personal sense, perhaps as well, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Certainly. Look, a personal sense, I mentioned I've got 2 kids. They're in high school, and now they've gone from going to school every day to learning from home, and that's really been quite challenging for them to adapt to that. My personal view is that the best place for kids to learn is in the classroom. So I think the sooner as a nation we can get back to full-time classroom learning, I think the better. Of course, we need to adhere to all of the health and safety guidelines that the governments have been great giving us. And isolation is probably the other thing from a personal perspective that I've found particularly challenging. I really enjoy the interaction with people, and in particular family and friends. And so for the last 6 or 8 weeks, it has been difficult while we've been in this sort of semi-lockdown state. So that's more from the personal perspective. But from a business perspective, wow, you are so right. The world has certainly changed over the last few months. We were finishing our 2024 strategy only in January, and we were looking forward to sort of broadcasting to the RSM community that it's all about strong, robust growth, and had our sights set on some big things from now till 2024. And what we've seen now with COVID-19 is a complete reset. And the way that we've approached it as a firm is really, first of all, to prepare the organisation for COVID, because it's meant some big changes in the way we do things. So the preparation stage has been really important. And now we're in that sustaining our business stage. And that's how do we continue to provide the services that we provide to clients in this remote lifestyle that we're leading. And not third by any means, but the third thing I'll say is we need to be focused on reactivating, because we've always said that COVID-19 and the interruption to us is very, very temporary. It's not permanent. We will get back to business. It won't be business as we used to know it straight away. In fact, it may never be business as we used to know it. But we will get back to businesses, and we need to start to prepare ourselves for that.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. With I guess that in mind, the preparations and looking at the vision as to this will come to an end, and I think we're all cognizant of that. They also say every cloud has a silver lining, and we're under a pretty dark cloud just at the moment. I think it's fair to say. But if we switch the focus from the challenge to the corollary, the opportunity, do you see any opportunities that come out of of what we're going through at the moment?
I really do, Steve. I think there's been some wonderful changes that have been forced upon us, and I really think as an organisation we'll grow from this experience. The learnings that we'll take into a post-COVID world, I think will be great for our staff, will be great for our clients, and great for the whole RSM community. Work practices, so the better use and adoption of technologies. Rolling a new technology out in an organisation our size is challenging, and it happens so seamlessly because of the absolute certainty that was required for us to succeed in that. Everybody put it at the top of their priority. The acceptance, and when I say acceptance, I believe that we probably had some unconscious bias when it came to flexible work, and that's something very much that the workforce is looking for. And some of the biases that were there was you need to see people working to actually believe that they are being productive. And I think we've certainly broken that myth. And so when we come back, I'm sure it will be a much greater mix of flexible work occurring in the RSM world. And the impact on our clients, like our auditors are doing some really interesting things like remote auditing. So who would have thought you could go and audit a business and not actually do it at the business premises? So I think that's interesting. And the whole concept of providing advice and being the trusted advisor was very much centered around face-to-face contact. And I think we've also broken that myth. And clients are very accepting now of receiving advice and communication and solutions to their problems via a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams or a Skype or whatever video link that we choose to use. So I think that's really important. And the way that we share information has changed enormously, from seminars to webinars, sharing insights, where people can, even if they can't make the time that the webinar's being held, they can record it, or we record it, and we can provide it to them later. So they can really use that, when it suits them and their business. And look, the final thing too is the way that we develop our people. Steve, as you know, we do a lot of face-to-face training, and that has some great cultural benefits, but also it interrupts people's lives. We talk about having that work-life balance, but if you've got to fly to another state to attend a training program, that might be great from a training and a learning perspective, but it might be great for everything else you've got going on in your life. And I think what we've proven through a rollout of a new learning management system is that we can learn and develop our people at a very high level. We can do it remotely, and there are lots of benefits that will come with that. And they're just a few of the silver linings, Steve.
Yeah, no, look, thanks, Jamie. It's good to kind of finish these sorts of things on a positive note, because we hear so much doom and gloom. So to hear those positive stories and the opportunities that come out is very good. Look, Jamie, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon for a chat. Hopefully, those who are watching this will take something away from that conversation, perhaps a little gem that Jamie has shared with us. Thanks again, Jamie. Really appreciate your time and looking forward to catching up face to face before too long.
Likewise. Thanks, Steve.